First things first, I just want to say this. Manchester United own Newcastle's asses again. And let me explain it. Manchester United, born and bred, Marcus Rashford, owned you, man. And by default, because he's Man United born and bred, we made him. It means Man United own him. Still, United. Manchester United, the only United in the Premier League. The top United in the Premier League. Not Newcastle United, not West Ham United, Manchester United. And that's thanks to Rashford. Scoreboard. That's what it is. Scoreboard. 1-0 this season. We're owning your asses again. But enough of the troll. Let's get on with it. Newcastle versus Barcelona. Started off first 20 minutes. Raucous. Raucous. But I was expecting that from Newcastle fans. I was expecting the players to go guns blazing this early on, similar to the PSG game. But my problem is they didn't learn from the mistakes. Yeah, the PSG game you got done dirty with the referee and all that, but it's not. Regardless of that, he did the same thing last time when all guns blame was in when it was a Champions League and it was against a big team. He acted like you weren't there. You acted like you haven't been there before. You need to act like you've been there before. And you went all guns blazing first 20 minutes. And bear in mind, this is a more talented team than the first time around you in the Champions League. And you just cooked yourselves. You cooked yourselves. And after 20 minutes, when you couldn't handle the constant sprinting, Barcelona got control of the game. And I'm not just trying to hate and all, it's just criticism, it's naivety from Eddie Howe. Yes, you got the passion, but you need to start off the game controlling the ball. I know you're a physical team, a counter-attacking team, but they're saying this is a marathon, not a sprint, especially in the 90-minute football game. Bear in mind, first Champions League game of the season. You want to cook yourselves right now. Chill out. Calm the F down. Like, you man just gassed out, especially in the first half. And then Barcelona got comfortable. They weren't as first half. They even when they did get comfortable, they weren't as like clinical in front of goal. But it seems like when they attacked, they weren't like exerting as much energy as you guys were. When you got the ball, it was like straight attack instead of getting control of the ball. Like there was times where Joe Linton was getting the ball and it was up in the air and he didn't even bother controlling the ball. He just like, screw it, I'm gonna toe poke it out and get it down the line, get into the attack straight away. And it was just panic stations, complete panic stations. But I rate the tenacity. I rate the passion, and I'll give praise to it. When you did pressure that first 20 minutes, you were cooking that right hand side. You were cooking what's his name? Gerard Martin at left back. He was getting violated. He needed the double team on top of the double team that Newcastle were doing in terms of Gordon and Alanga just cooking him on the right. I understood why Eddie Howe didn't start Voltamate or Voldemort, mainly because of the high line. No, I called saying I thought Voltamade would have started because Barca struggle with the tall, lanky players, tall, physical strikers, especially in set pieces. But I understood because of the high line that Barcelona play, you probably want guys in the front line that are all pace merchants. I hear it. I hear it. But the fact that you kind of over relied on it, you kind of just went like all guns blazing, it bit you in the ass. It meant that 20 minutes you had to score. You had to score to get comfortable, and you didn't. You missed your window, and they got back into the game. Luckily, for half time came through and it gave you a break, and it was still 0-0. But then second half, as soon as Rashford scored the first goal, it was curtains. And don't get me started on that second goal. That second goal was disgusting. Outside shot, top left corner. My God, but Marcus Rashford, eat your heart out. But yeah, it's just I think Barcelona weren't even worried, even though they were getting violated in the first 20 minutes. And when I say violated, it was mainly Gerard Martin. Everyone else was pretty calm. got physical, but they somehow handled it. Even though, even the 20 minutes when they were getting cooked, when they did get the ball, Pedri and De Jong ran that midfield, and they didn't look like they were sweating it. They just got the ball out to Rashford. They knew to get the ball out to Rashford. They knew to get the ball out of Rafinha. Rafinha was not too bad this game. Wasn't his best game, but he was an outlet. He was trying to be threatening. Rashford was the more threatening, so they got the ball out to him more. And yeah, that's that's what a world class team is. That's how Barca is. Even though they're playing the high line, they've got guys so good on the ball that they can take on any pressure on the ball. They are press resistant. De Jong, Pedri, even Lopez, but Lopez, they used Lopez as more of the guy that was physical and running around like a dog, while Pedri and De Jong were the more press resistant guys on the ball. It was all about De Jong and Pedri. They ran the whole game. They ran it. And shout out to Jean Garcia, excellent in goal. I can't help thinking when watching Jean Garcia that I'm comparing to Man United goalkeepers. The way he was coming out with confidence, and when I say it's not even confidence, it's just automatic. The way he comes out for crosses, the way he's just early in the ball, his shot stopping, very very good. It gets me jealous. And I'm hoping our new goalkeeper San Lamans for Man United is half the man that Jean Garcia is, because Jean Garcia is a steal. The fact that you got him from Espanyol, your city rivals, that's mad. That's mad. That's shameful on Espanyol. Should never have allowed to do that. Should have sent him out to the Premier League, to Man United, to Man City. We both needed keepers, but Barcelona managed to get him. Lucky them. Lucky them. At the end of the day, with Newcastle, I said it again. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. Calm down. You got talented players. You got a team. You got a really good team. Better team than the last time you were in the Champions League. This time you're in the Champions League with the different format compared to the last time you were in. And it's longer because it's a league format. If it does last, the league format does last longer. So you need to take your time with it. Need to take your time. The other thing is a little bit of a criticism on Eddie Howe. The 4 substitutions. I don't know why he did that. Don't know why you did that. On the 65th minute, you did that. Subbing off Alanga and Barnes. I understand subbing one of them off to get Walter-Maida on. But subbing both of them on off, especially subbing off Alanga, I would have kept him on for longer. He was already cooking Gerard Martin, Jacob Murphy on the right hand side. As much as he's a good player, he's not blistering fast. You needed a blistering fast player for that high line, not a slow player that's more technical. It didn't work. It really didn't work. That was a big mistake. I understand taking Barnes off because he was doing the same tricks that Kunde found him out. But other than that, should have kept Alanga on, put Gordon on the left, and then have Walter made that, so then it changes up the dynamic up front, where you still have the pace on the wings, the blistering pace, but now you have a taller striker that's causing problems in the middle. So whoever on the wing, let's say Alanga on the right has the ball, Voltamida tall as hell, causing problems. You get then the left winger Gordon coming in and overloading, causing problems. You get a Joe Linton to box crash into the box, cause problems, cause physicality problems. But Eddie Howe made the mistake of subbing him off. I really don't understand why he did that. He needs to learn from that. Learn from the mistakes you did in the last Champions League when you were in, and learn from the mistakes of Unai Emery, because Unai Emery did similar things like that. Game going well, questionable substitutions, questionable decision making, man management, especially when it's going well. They're on a roll. You have good games, and then towards the end you start doing questionable substitutions and cost the team the match. Similar situation Unai did. Eddie Howe better not make that mistake. Better learn from Unai. Your team is talented, but there's loads of teams that are way more talented. So there's less room for mistakes. You have to be borderline perfect. silly mistakes with those substitutions like that costs you games, costs you points. You could have at least got a draw. I know the goals against aren't to do with the attack, which is why I said at least you could have got a draw. You could have got another goal in. You could have even won if you had those attackers on. If you had kept Alanga on for a little bit longer. But hey ho, this is how football is. Little details, little mistakes could sway the whole game. But overall, this game was fiery in terms of the crowd, Newcastle crowd, like loud. But at the end of the day, I think Barcelona scored Newcastle United. I really do. Newcastle United. I don't know what game you got next in the Champions League, but hopefully you don't get any injuries like last time where you were injury ridden. Hopefully, hopefully you don't, because Trippier injured, Share injured. So we're already worrying. Already worrying. I can't even talk. But yeah. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. Like, subscribe, and peace.